Hi guys, hi my darlings. I think I prefer darlings to guys. Yeah, because you guys are sweet and I love you. Those of you that continually watch my video, even despite how cringe it is. But you know what? I'm gonna stop saying that. My videos are not cringe, they're really nice. Yeah, I should stop saying that. So today's episode 2 of Hazel's Tell All. And today we're going to be talking about how this part of the world and this part how this part of the world excuses nonsense behavior. Pardon my English, but my English is gonna English in this episode, and I'm not even sorry. One thing I've really noticed about this part of the world is how they excuse a lot of nonsense behavior, and especially for men. Especially for men, we have a lot of deadbeats, because again the society excuses them, and in the future when they try to come back into the child's life with that sense of entitlement, the society will tell the child to forgive, tell the child that, oh, you're obligated to take care of your father, you're obligated to take care of your parents, just by what they did to you. And I've always found that to be like a very weird behavior. And it's not just for deadbeats, molesters, criminals. We always give, excuses and always just allow them blend into society, just like that. Another really big category that this happens is with pedophiles, especially the ones that happen within the family. A child is being molested by an uncle or auntie or a neighbor or something, and the behavior is not excused, but it's either the child is shut down and not listened to, or even if they do believe the child, no punishment is doled out to the offenders. It's just brushed under the carpet. Oh, because he's a family member. Oh, because he's Baba Shukura, or because he's Uncle Chris or something. Like, it's just they're just walking freely, and nobody's doing anything about it. That's crazy to me, you know and it's really unfair, especially to the victims, and a lot of times they victim blame. I don't. The victims are blamed for speaking out, the victims are blamed for the behavior of the oppressor, and it really is just crazy to me. I was a victim of sexual molestation, sexual harassment. I'm also a victim of a deadbeat, parent. And it's just crazy how people tell you to forgive. I started facing sexual molestation from a very tender age, and I didn't have anybody fight for me. I didn't have anybody come to my rescue. I didn't have anybody, you know make the oppressor pay for what they did. And the one time that my family even actually came together to confront one that, molested me, it still ended up being brushed under the rug. Like, nothing was done about it. And if you are in a gathering of millennials, people between the ages of like 28 to 40, those of us in that age gap, a lot of us were disvirgined by our older ones, these uncles, aunties, older neighbors. A lot of us were disvirgined that way. A lot of us, our first sexual experience came from that. And that does shape the mind and the life of a child. And it's so wild how the older generation allowed a lot of that to slide. I don't understand a lot. I really don't understand how the older generation they think and they process situations. I've said this before, I've said it a couple of times. Like, I don't get it. I don't get the silence culture. I don't get the reason why, especially like, I don't get the silence culture, really, why you are not allowed to speak up. Even when you are trying to fight for yourself, they'll tell you, oh no, you don't need to go through that stress. Oh no, you don't need to. I remember when sperm donor, did what he did. Okay, so he lied to the police that I stole the vehicle he gave me as a push present after having my son. And he did this out of, being vindictive. And when I got to the police station, I was invited into the police station. I was actually supposed to be arrested, but I was invited instead out of the intervention of the DPO of that station. And he asked that they didn't arrest me, instead rather they invite me over. So on getting there and reading the statement and seeing all the lies, and then writing my own statement, at the end of everything, after my friends came to bail me out, I wanted to go ahead to human rights services to sue him. And then what I was met with was, oh, don't stress yourself like that, or you don't want to go through that process, or you don't want to completely sever the relationship, yada yada, don't just move on with your life. You get this silence culture. And I did listen, because I realized that instead of spending my energy on fighting that battle, I could just use my energy to, move on with my life and take care of my child and take care of myself. But again, it's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous that the victims have to carry that weight, all the time. And then in the future, of course, a lot of the time, like 80-90% of the time, these oppressors, they end up coming back into the victim's life to ask for forgiveness for whatever reason. For the deadbeats, they come when the child is doing well, they come back thinking, oh yeah, because they have penis is dangling between their legs, they are entitled to whatever it is the child you know has. Take Ashake for instance. We saw that situation play out a few weeks ago, where his father you know came forward and was complaining that Ashake is not taking care of him. I'm sure there is a very big reason as to why Ashake isn't taking care of the man. The man is most likely deadbeat. Do you understand? And then people had so many opinions. Oh, you should be taking care of him. Oh, you should forgive him. Yada yada yada. That's usually what happens. And it is because the society excuses it and the society allows it. If a man decides that he doesn't want to be in a child's life, or the mother has to exit or run away with her child for her safety, or out of protection for herself and her child, that man should not be allowed to come back. It shouldn't. In my own opinion, the man should not be entitled to anything. I understand forgiveness, and I understand, doing it for yourself and releasing yourself from that bondage. But I think time does that. Having the person back into their lives is just crazy wild to me. It's just crazy wild to me. And I know that I'm saying this, but when I really do think about it, I do hope that, my son does find a way to have some sort of relationship with sperm donor at the end of the day. Like, somehow. I don't want my son to grow up having, bad blood, carrying that energy and that burden around. But him coming back with a sense of entitlement and wanting to feel like, oh, he has the right to, I think that's it, thinking they have the right to be in that child's life, thinking that they have a right to be in the victim's life, should be abolished. It's just wrong. It should be the victim's choice whether or not they want to allow their oppressor to have that level of what's the word now, that level of access to them. It should be the victim's choice. It shouldn't be mandated. Okay, imagine somebody threatening the life of the mother who carried his child, and I don't think there is and the person has to go into hiding or run away, or that kind of thing. And then the person comes back from nowhere years down the line claiming, oh yeah, I'm the father of the child, and now the child is doing well, the child has to take care of me. When the child needed diaper, when the child needed healthcare, when the child needed school fees, when the child needed emotional support, when the child needed all of that, where were you? Where the fuck were you? I'm not allowed to curse on YouTube. But yeah, like where were you? And then all of a sudden you just come from nowhere thinking, oh yeah, because you donated some DNA, you should have access. That's ridiculous to me. I don't get it. And it's very common with the men. So for deadbeat mothers, a lot of times when the woman says she doesn't want to be involved with the child, she actually doesn't even come back. A lot of times the women don't come back. Like they're done and they're done. They just go. A lot of times you see that the women they vanish. They don't come back with any sense of entitlement. It's mostly seen amongst the men. And I don't get it. Like why are men so